You ready to get started?
I think so.
Alrighty.
All right. Episode 86 of the Unsuccessful Entrepreneur podcast. Welcome, Brittany and Devin. It's been too long since we've been able to make this happen. It's been a long time coming. You guys are right there. You're our next door neighbors.
You guys aren't busy at all though, right?
I mean, we just had to buy Chick-fil-A and, pay a couple trainers double the going rate to be here. That's fine. Which still isn't a good rate.
Well, hopefully we get you some new members though, and we make up for that. So it's an investment, right?
Yes.
So, no, we know you guys are extremely busy. We see how many people are working out over there.
Yep.
I have legitimately seen, there was one time, I think it was a holiday workout. You guys had so many people here. I don't know I can't describe how big this parking lot is, but you had people parked out front, like in front of Triad. Like it got so packed that there was no spots left and people had to park out front of the shopping center. So
that's legit.
Yeah. So we know how busy you guys are and we appreciate you joining us. You guys are the owners of FitCamp180 Yukon, our next door neighbors. We are extremely blessed to have you guys next door.
Absolutely.
Super cool to have just generally people that are in the fitness industry. We get to work with you guys and so many of your members in store. I think it can be even underrated too, to just be able to come to work and have other like-minded individuals, people running a gym and just people going to the gym is nice to be around. Usually people are a little bit happier and in a better mood, especially when they're leaving the gym. The thing I did not expect is how helpful you guys have been with raising our kids. Because I think it was Riley was about 1 year old, and so she's getting up and she's walking and exploring. So we would go outside and she'd, pick up rocks and walk around and we'd venture over kind of by the gym sometimes. And I think there was one time we kind of walked in, just to say hi, and she looked over and saw the toys in the childcare area. And so she went and hung out for a little bit, for a couple minutes, and then we left. But then she wanted to go back the next day. So now it is a regular thing that she just comes and hangs out with the kids during some classes. Your sister Dakota watches her sometimes just generally throughout the day with the other kids that she's got over there. And it is legitimately the only reason I get some work done some days. So.
Riley with the sunshade.
That's right.
Oh, also, hopefully I'm not spoiling this, but Alyssa bought a really fun Valentine's Day present. Was it a tradition here in Oklahoma, like at school, to like bring Valentine's Day gifts, like candy and stuff for their kids? Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So Alyssa got Riley, I think it's like 30 pairs of heart-shaped sunglasses that are sized for kids. So be ready.
As if she wasn't already the favorite. That's awesome.
But yeah, I just can't express how much we appreciate you having you guys as neighbors. You've been such a blessing in so many ways, that we wouldn't have even foreseen when we first moved in here. So, I know I'm talking a lot, but, we do really appreciate you guys quite a bit. So
I think it's also just kind of crazy that of all the places that, we could set up, obviously having Triad and having the warehouse back here, that like literally 3 of the 4 businesses that are in this back thing are all like fitness related.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Like with Yukon Martial Arts now turning into Transformed Martial Arts, but and then us, and then obviously you guys next door. It's like you got everything you need over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Resilient right next door. Go get adjusted.
That's exactly right. Seriously, they're awesome up there too. And so, yeah, it is funny that, and then some Pollo Campera on your way out. Let's go. It's a party.
Yeah. Get your protein powder, go get your chicken, get your workout, fight some other people, get adjusted. You can do that without ever going onto a main road.
Yeah, 1 parking spot.
Yeah. You don't even have to repark.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, I couldn't help but wonder whenever I felt like that happened. I was like, did God plan this?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just like orchestrate us to be like right here. Because we actually came out here early on and we were thinking about this location and we were praying about it. And we were like, we feel like this is it, but we shouldn't just jump to conclusions. Let's look around. But then we ended up coming back to this location and we're like, I feel like this is it. And so we went after it. And like after that, you realize you guys were coming in and like, okay, I'm like,
we didn't either.
Yeah.
Well, and there was so much fear because of what we do. We want to be good neighbors, but we are loud neighbors.
Right. I never noticed. Have you ever noticed?
Honestly, not anymore.
No, I don't hear it at all anymore.
When we first moved in, it was like, okay, like we know when class is going on. I cannot, it's white noise to me now. So yeah.
It was one of the biggest God winks because when we moved in, our first neighbors were calm, Tiffany and Tim. And the first probably 2-3 weeks, Tiffany said, I was like, what is going on over there? And I came over, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed,
right?
3-week-old gym owner and invited them to the gym. And she was like, okay, I'll go over there. Thankfully, she enjoyed it. Told her office manager, don't call the cops.
Right.
And then you guys came in and it just continued to really, really help us be at peace because that was our biggest fear is moving next to someone that was like, what on earth are they doing? I hate them.
Well, I don't know if you ever heard the story of how we ended up, here as our warehouse because we were looking for some warehouse space because we had been in storage units. And the biggest thing for us is needing enough AC to keep, all the supplements within like the temperature range. And it can accelerate like essentially the flavor systems of things like starting to kind of change. So just the flavor of stuff can kind of change and kind of the dull out and you just don't want that. And so you want to keep it at a very specific temperature. And so it's hard, one, to find warehouse space with air conditioning at all. And two, like we needed like double what like you would even normally see in a place. And so we had kind of, and I know I'm telling the story and you know it more, but it's like, we were kind of talking to the landlord and we were kind of like trying to figure out, some options and some different things and some information on these. And it was like this unit, like this one, he was like, oh yeah, like that one has double AC for like no reason because the previous person or somebody who was gonna come in here or something like that needed it. And so they installed it and then it didn't end up working out.
I think this was going to be a winery.
Yeah.
I remember. Wow.
And so that was the big thing was that because they were going to need it to be at a certain temperature as well. And then that didn't end up working out. And then we were like, wait, that one has double the air conditioning, literally, 200 feet from the back of one of our stores. Like, yeah, deal.
Yeah, I think it was, talking to Ali, which I'm sure you guys know how this goes, but it was probably a 10-second conversation because we moved in to the store up front and we were looking all over for warehouse space with any kind of venting at all or any kind of HVAC at all. And it's like that is almost non-existent because like so many warehouses just don't need it at all.
Pipe fittings or something. You don't need to keep it cool.
Yeah. And we were at the store one day and we're like, let's just go walk back here. Like that'd be like, let's just go look at the warehouses. And I think it was these spaces over here. We looked up and there was ductwork and we're like, oh, it goes through the whole building. Like maybe they're doing AC and heat in these. And so I reached out to Ali. And he said, we're not developing the next building yet, but I have one space open. And I was like, yeah, does it have, I assume it has HVAC like the other spaces do? He's like, yeah, this one's different. It's got 2 units, so double the tonnage for the winery. And I had already done the calculation for like what we would need for the tonnage for our like cubic feet. And he was like, this is what it is. I'm like, that's what we need. He's like, okay, great. I'll send the lease over.
So yeah, it's funny. I mean, you talk about God things. It was one of those where we're just like, oh, so the like exact thing that we need that we have not been able to find anywhere happens to be 200 feet behind our store. Like, yeah, deal. That'll work.
Yeah, it is really nice being right behind the store too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. Like just the amount of times, like just because we obviously have overstock and stuff over here, it's like just running back from the store to grab something for a customer or whatever, meetings, like all those kind of things. It's really been awesome.
Yeah. So you guys are both full time with the gym, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Both full time.
Did it start out that way, or did one of you start full time and then the other one join in, or like because you guys both came from like more like career type jobs, right?
Yeah.
More corporate style jobs.
So we had no idea that we wanted to own a gym. 5 years ago, I don't think I even wanted to work out. But so we joined the location in Edmond just as a client. I joined. I was a recruiter and a salesperson at a small recruiting company after leaving a big recruiting company. I made my own schedule. I had my own team. They built an entire office around me in Oklahoma City. And then COVID happened. I was the only employee they did not furlough because they couldn't afford to get rid of me. I was responsible for 60% of their revenue. So it's kind of a big deal. And my friend invited me to a post-COVID challenge for $20. Come and work out all of May. And I didn't have anything else to do and I was still getting paid. So I went there and Devin was still working as a software developer for Paycom. And I told him I loved it. And he said, it doesn't have AC.
By the way, she was going to Lifetime at the time. And then I had my gym at Paycom I could go to.
Okay.
So, you've got this spa of a, utopia of a gym. And then I went and worked out in a garage that had no AC and it's May. So it's hot. And there's not any commercial equipment. There's just barbells. And he's like, you want to do what?
And you're like, this is better than Lifetime. It's hard to describe to people, but it is though.
Yes. And it was a weird, really, it was one of my favorite moments of months of my life. I met so many friends. And the second month I pulled Devin in and he was still like, I've got a gym. I know how to work out. He doesn't need a group fitness class to teach him what to do. And then we extended a trial. And then by the third month, we were both like, this is special, which is actually where our 90 days for $90 trial came from. It took us 90 days to figure it out. And then, even then it was just, we're going to be clients.
Right.
And then within about 6 months, I found myself wanting to train classes. So I was missing sales calls to mop and clean the toilets and do anything that needed to be done for almost zero money. And that was about the time that Devin was like, I've never watched you work so hard without money attached.
Yeah, that was the thing I watched. I told her, I was like, the thing that I'm noticing is like all her life, she's been very money motivated, like, and not in a bad way, like sales, like she could do it and she could make commissions. And that was great because we had extra money we could use for stuff.
That's always nice.
Yeah. But in this case, it was just like, she just wanted to serve. She wanted to love people. And she saw that the way that the place was loving people, she wanted to be a part of it.
Right.
And so, I'll let her tell more of the story, but there was a trainer spot that opened up and just in my head, I just felt it. I was like, that's your spot. Like, it's your spot right there. You can tell more about how you got into that.
Took it.
Heck yeah.
So, and that was awesome. I mean, I was able to do both. And about probably a year later, we were not even thinking anything more than I just loved being there and I could do both. And I think it was Ali that maybe called about land being in Yukon. And he called the owner in Edmond and was like, I've got this awesome, location and we're, just now breaking ground. And he's like, I know that you've talked about expanding. Do you have anyone that, might want to? And that's where that conversation came from. And we prayed a lot. And I remember praying that, if this changes everything, like financially, like, is my answer still yes? Because I grew up poor. So my goal was to eat whatever I wanted when I wanted. And that I was going to have a job that gave me that. That was my motivation. So
you did.
I'm really glad I started liking the gym because I really love food. And within that year, we had said yes to building a 10,000 square foot building from scratch with no business plan. And Dev said, go do it.
Yeah.
Go for it. I told her, go for it. Now, my wife has a thing about like she plants seeds because she says that she didn't want to own a gym at this point. Well, whenever she got invested, I remember her telling me this at one specific time. It was like, I told Sean that I'm not just like, I'm going to own my own gym. And I was like, what? You want to own your own gym? But then a lot of times like she'll move on and keep doing things because she's always doing. And then it was like later on that was like the opportunity's right on like the desk. And my wife she kind of speaks things into existence sometimes where it's like she talked about it. And then later it actually becomes a thing, an opportunity. And then it's like, do we really want to do this? And then as an answer, yes. Like, So I don't know. It's just a thing that she does that, like, I don't know if God uses it that way.
Right.
Like she speaks about this and then it's like, well, this actually could be a real thing if we actually like believe we can do it. Maybe
Spoke it into existence.
I better stop speaking.
Or be very conscious about what you speak of. We actually just talked about this on the last episode we did, as how important and how powerful goal setting can be, and setting goals that especially don't seem realistic or don't even seem possible, because it triggers or it forces your brain to start thinking, okay, like initially that seemed impossible, but like,
Right.
if we were to do that, how would we get there? And that's where you start to create the pathway and the steps on how to actually get to that point. So,
Well, and I think that's, when you say it out loud, it sounds crazy. I was well into six figures, and I thought I was going to do both. And then I continued to pray, like, I could do my other job at 40% and still do enough to keep it, you know? And I was like, maybe God is giving us that, you know, that cash flow to fund the gym. I continued to pray, and it was, is this, you know, the right thing to do if I can't give 100% to this other small business? Is it right to still take their paycheck, or allow them to, you know, go and pay someone that can give them 100%?
Right.
And that answer was very clear. So before we even opened our doors, I quit my job. So I had zero income. And this year, Devin quit his job 2.5 years later.
that's awesome.
I told her whenever she was trying to do both, I was like, babe, imagine the amount of energy that you spend trying to get hires and all this stuff. I'm like, imagine if you applied that toward this gym and like these people that you're trying to get in the door. What if you were applying it toward that instead? Like, you are so good at what you do, and anything you put your mind to, like, just if you focus on this, you're going to make it successful. So whenever she was able to finally like make that distinction, I was like, it's going to be fine. Like, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, right.
It reminds me a lot of when I think the big transition period for me was, because when we first started, we were all young 20-year-olds without bills or responsibilities or anything like that. So we could kind of be a little bit reckless with some of our decisions.
Plenty of roommates.
Yeah, plenty of roommates. I think the pivot point for me was in our first 2 years of business. I think most of the time had second jobs just for income. It's like, hey, just work anywhere and just, you know, even if it's minimum wage, just enough to, you know, pay rent and food and we'll be good. And when I was actually working the front desk and as a trainer at Fitness 19 over off Brittany Road. That's not there anymore, but I officially got to leave there and dedicate all of my time back to the business. And that was like such an exciting moment, because it's like now 100% of my effort can go towards building this, which really needs more attention, needs more effort. And it was a really fun point in time of my life. That's for sure. Yeah.
It's scary.
It is. So what would you say now? Your overall life when you were working in sales and for a corporate company versus now being a gym owner. Are you happy you made the decision?
Most days.
Most days.
Yeah. It is. I'm humbled every day looking at people that have already done it. It was very easy to look and be like, I could do that. Pray for people and party and work out hard and
hang out with your workout
awesome.
buddies. Yeah, it's super easy, right?
Yes. But I also know that I have never enjoyed like working so hard for something, and that the impact is so much like it's not worldly. And that's the difference maker.
Well, and I think that's such a cool aspect about what you guys do over there. And obviously the thing that was so attractive to you guys is it's so much more than a gym. Like the gym becomes just like almost like a side part of like actually what you're doing. And I think it's such a cool thing when you see God work in those kind of ways, because there's so many things that I know we've talked about this a lot on the podcast that I think is hard to like always take into perspective sometimes. But one of the coolest things things, and one of the things I say a lot to people in these kind of situations, especially having a gym like this, as such a strong community, because like you guys have, like we always say this, like we're a customer service business that happens to sell supplements, you know, and it's like you guys are a community business that happens to work out together, you know, and so how powerful that can be, because it makes the dauntingness for a lot of people of going to the gym a whole lot easier, because now it's just hanging out with your friends, doing something fun, and then, you know, there's something super intimate about going through such a struggle together that is so difficult, and then getting out on the other side. Like you can go, and I experience this a lot with jujitsu, but it's the same thing over there. Like you have a partner workout, and it's like you could meet that person that day, and by the end of the workout, you're it's crazy like how fast, like just putting people through hardships together and like being able to accomplish that together makes like lasting friendships that make it where, you know, it's not going to the gym, you know, it's going to spend time with people that you love. It's spending time with your family, like a church family. It's like your gym family. And I think one of the really cool things that we've talked about a lot on here is like in the future, right? Like how many grandparents did you introduce to their grandchild? Because if they would have never gone to the gym, they wouldn't have made it that long. Like how many years of a life in the short time that you guys have been open have you added to this community of people that then, you know, break chains of, you know, habits that get passed down from, you know, within families, and how much like breaking those cycles and things. It's like, you're not only, you know, affecting, so, you know, there might be a 20-year-old over there who's breaking a cycle of their life, you know, whether that's problems with weight or problems with whatever, you know what I mean? And then finding like a community of people that support you and love you, and like having a God first gym. And then it's like, you know, how much help are you able to, in some small way through this, help their grandchildren who are now going to have a grandparent who's totally different for the rest of their life because of this stuff. And I think those are the things that I think it's hard to see those things because they're not like always super tangible things, but that's like the real work you guys are doing over there. And that's the thing that I like, that's what like, oh dude, that fires me up. Like that's the thing that I'm always like super excited about. Like anytime someone walks through the Triad doors for us, or walks through, you know, like FitCamp180 doors, it's like, yeah, this person might just be coming in for a little bit of advice or some help. And, you know, I could maybe give them some help, or like, maybe I could really, really try to help this person, like really give them the time of day, really make them feel comfortable, because like, who knows what small effect could be a seed planted or a thing that snowballs into something even better in their life. And it's that's the stuff that gets me really excited about this kind of business that, you know, we're doing and what you guys are doing. It's so cool.
And I think as business owners, it's so important not to get numb to that.
Yes.
Because when you're doing all the things, like sometimes it'll take a client to literally meet on the training floor, be like, Britt, take a look around.
Right.
Do you understand like lives that are going to be different forever because you said yes, you know, you said that yes. And we're moving through, you know, my brain's here, and here, and just taking that second to actually breathe it in so that you can go back to like what the mission was. The mission was to care for people deeply. And I think that it is so easy running a small business that you forget that.
Absolutely.
There's so many things that you have to keep up with on like making sure that you've got enough money for rent and payroll, making sure that your employees are all doing the things that following the systems that you put in place, making sure that the systems are the right way that they need to be.
Having a system
in the first place. And we didn't have a whole lot of those when we first started.
Touche.
But yeah, it's just, there's so many things that can like be overwhelming on like, that have to happen to make sure the wheel keeps turning, that it's easy to lose sight of that. That's for sure. So
we do that a lot, especially when like Sample Triad comes around, because it's such a big event for us. And we have like a literal circus tent out in front of like our Quail Springs store and all these things. And it's tough to like, especially on that day, because everything's got to go right. You know, we got to have this here by this time. This has to get taken care of. This has to be set up. You know,
what's the weather going to do?
Yeah. Yeah, right. The dunk tank has to, we have to have, how long of a hose do we need to run it from the back of the building over here all the way up here? You know what I mean? And it's
which employee is supposed to be up there? What's the schedule? Is the food here on time? People are waiting for food.
So many moving parts.
Literally, that it is really difficult to just like stop and smell the roses of like, oh my gosh, like we've seen 1,000 people today. You know what I mean? Like this is our community. Like this is something that we've, been a part of and been able to help cultivate and bring these people together. It's like, it is so difficult. And you become numb to it of just like, how's the day been? Or how's the, like what, are everybody happy? Is the flow of the thing going right? And it's just like, you just have so much on your mind that it is hard to just like really take a moment. And I think that's something that we've both tried to be really intentional about when those kind of events and things happen, is to just like, hey, take a second, like take a deep breath and just like take it in. Like, look at this. This is amazing. Like this is bigger than we would have dreamed of for a long time. And now it's reality. And how do we make it cooler? How do we make it bigger? What's the next thing?
And it's so easy to go there.
Yeah.
What didn't go right?
What didn't go right? And then also like getting lost in the next thing. Cause we're always like, well, how do we support? How do we grow? How do we support? How do we grow? But like just looking at it and being like, wow, we've gotten this far. Like this many people are in our gym. And like the way that we did it doesn't make sense, because we were like, gym, it seems to work here. We're going to take it here, but we're really focused on loving and like giving people the same experience that we had, but nothing about money and like how we make that work.
Right.
Like, a lot of people like figure out, their money first, and then they work that way, right? Like figure out the money, and then we can make this work. However, it's like, no, we were like, love and experience and know what we had. And it's like, well, how do we figure out this money piece?
You guys have rent.
Well, and the original experience wasn't always a 10,000 square foot building, so the Edmond location had grown and they had, expanded bays, but now that's what we knew. So we wanted to replicate that, but that's not how it was started. So we came in
10,000 square feet, right?
guns
off
blazing.
That I sure was scary.
When we think about it out loud, like it sounds crazy. But we didn't. We just did.
Right.
We didn't write it out, because on a business plan, if I talked to an investor, they'd call me an idiot.
Yeah.
I think there's something to like setting, like just like putting something in place that like kind of forces you. It's like 10,000 square feet. You need X amount of members to be able to support that. And I'm sure it's quite a bit.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, how do we get to that many members? Where if you had a much smaller facility, that number is only a quarter of what that would cost. And it's like, okay, we only have to get to this number. So then your thinking and your pathways only get you to that number.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use one that is not health related at all, or an example, but I read the book on Ray Kroc and McDonald's, and how he was really big on, he would add one more POS station than they anticipated to need at a location, and everybody was always against it. Oh, we don't need that. It's going to be extra money. You're going to have to staff it. And it's more, it's like, well, if we do that, then we have to figure out how to bring enough customers in to support that, as opposed to just being happy with what we anticipate to have as far as our customers go. So.
Yeah. And I think, that reminds me a lot of
POSing it into existence.
Yeah, that's right. Reminds me a lot, because we were, in so many ways the same way. Like we had worked at a supplement store, and a very successful supplement store that had been open for 10 years. I think 10 years at the time, something like that, 9 or 10. 15, something, I don't know. Been open for a long time. And, I think we kind of had the idea too of like, oh, well, like, this is just how it goes. Like you do this, you treat people right. You got this, and
all the customers just show up.
Right. They just flood through the doors. They start kicking the door in, before we're even open. And then it's like, okay, that's not exactly how it goes. You know what I mean? And we went through a ton of iterations of like different things, but I think our main idea, not dissimilar to you guys at all, was just like, above everything else, like let's just treat people right, because that's not the experience that people are getting. And, for us, we've always been very big on like control what we can control, in the sense of like, we can put into place and make sure that we are the most knowledgeable, right? Like we can put the work in. We know we can be the most knowledgeable. We know that we can find the people. And when it was just, the four of us kind of at the beginning, or towards the beginning, it was like, well, we know how good a service we can give. We know how much we can help people. And it's like, then it's just like, can we hold our breath long enough for word to catch fire and people to hear about it and have enough good experiences to like tell their friends, want people to come in. Like we've always been, really big on, and I'm sure kind of similar to you guys. It's like, if you come and experience it once, like we feel confident that you'll want to come back because we will love you in a way that like will make you want to come back because we want to be very different from what the typical experience is. And that's why we've always been, like no direct commission, no like sales incentives, nothing like we don't want our employees to feel, even if they're going through a tough time financially or whatever, that there's even an avenue to like create something that isn't what we wanted it to be. And that's tough because it's, again, we were kind of in the same boat of like, let's, like we can love people, we can serve people, and then the money will come and we'll figure it out from there, but it's, I think those are the businesses that, and hopefully speak this into existence. Those are the businesses that I feel like really make it though, and get to a point where, if you're able to replicate that and get other people to do it and continue that kind of mentality going forward, it's like, like that's a big thing for us. It's like, we've never tracked individual sales from like employees because it doesn't matter. Like that's not our goal. And every supplement store I've ever heard of besides us tracks individuals, who's selling the most, who's selling the least. And it's just like, that's not like who, we want to be like, who wrote the most diets this month? Like who took the extra steps to go and do this? Who treated everyone right over and over and over again that they got a 5-star review with their name on it? Like, we'll incentivize that because you guys, I'm sure know too, you have to give immaculate service 1,000 times to get one person to take time out of their day to do it. Because we're not allowed to ask for it. You know what I mean? And so those are the kind of things that like we've always tried to incentivize, like just treating people right. And then, we'll figure everything else out as it goes.
Well, and I think it's your willingness to go against the mold or the norm, right? Just like you said, like this is what other successful, companies have done in my space. And that's, with us, it's not a wise decision to have a huge space. It's much more easy to afford, A, to get to know your people and to create that community, B. So a group fitness, they should have a smaller space. It should be capped classes. They should probably be 7 to 9 people per class. Childcare is actually really expensive. Small gyms don't offer it. Big, gyms do. And so being willing to go against what drives results, like being in a commissioned environment, to create something that you feel better about and the way that you want to service people. And I think it's a big risk because you see the playbook. You could follow that one and it's worked. And I think that's what separates businesses that you might not see the results as quick. And I think that's what we look at we know we could have done it easier and quicker.
And I think, go ahead.
I think that's part of the experience though, is being able to work out with like a group of people too. Like it's a
party over there.
That's the best way to describe it. It's a party. So you go in and the lights are going and the music starts bumping and it's like everybody takes out the garage doors, at least when the weather's nice, and you're running together and you're like, okay, like I'm kind of at the back of the pack now, but I really want to make my way forward. So you're doing your movements and going through your stations, and it's like, and there's someone next to you working out hard and you're working out I want to work out just a little bit harder and get through it a little bit faster and move on to the next one.
True definition of iron sharpening iron.
It's like, again, it's like you described it, you're comparing it to lifetime, and it's like hard to describe, but it's like, there's something about when you go in there and get that type of workout that it's just like, that's just fun. So,
but it's hard to create that value, just like for your employees. Maybe they're coming from another supplement shop and they're like, I want commission. Like that's what I'm used to. And without you being able to articulate it, they've got to experience that. How much more free are you caring for your people and that's not over your head? And that's the same thing that we've got to do is, hey, we're not $10 a month. And hey, your membership is this because we do have a 10,000 square foot building, but why isn't it the same? And I think there's both sides of that when you're not following the traditional model.
Yep.
It's not easy.
No, I think, you just reminded me of this when you're talking about, I think you guys have like such a cool recipe for how the workout goes, because I think while it is like kind of a party, in a positive way, I do think that it's like the lights being down and like all of these things you can kind of like, you guys make a very unique way versus when it's like very small and kind of like there's some intimacy to that, which is really cool. But when you're big too, like I think you blend this way of being like the least intimidating like party you can go to, you know what I mean? Where it's like, you can kind of go in there and like, you can do your workout and just talk to people, but it's not like the lights are shining bright on you individually. You know what I mean? And you've got to do this in front of everybody. It's like for people who are, and I know this is something that we experience a lot too. It's like, there is plenty of people that, we have as customers that would walk into any supplement store in the country, and that's great. We love those people. We also have a very large demographic of people who would have probably been terrified to walk into a supplement store for the majority of their life. And I think that is such a cool thing here, is because you can cater to both of those people, right? Like you can kind of come in and like, hey, nobody's watching you. Like maybe the coach, the people who are there supposed to be helping and stuff, but there's no like, I don't feel like there's this fear of like, oh, somebody's going to be watching me and thinking, I don't know what I'm doing. Am I doing this right or whatever? And you kind of get that like it's a little bit of the darkness, but the party's kind of fun, and then you realize how much fun you're having, and then
you get permission to be like the wallflower at the party until you're ready.
Yeah, that's
exactly.
a great way.
And you can kind of work your way into it. And I think that's like, very similar to us too, is like the vast majority of our employees, I think almost all of them really, are former customers, right? They're people who came in, who understood what we were doing, why we were doing it the way we were doing it, and had an appreciation and a love for that. And then that translated into them actually being employees and being able to carry that on. And I think that's a lot of times what happens with these, like your gym, and I know a lot of the coaches, and so, but it's a lot of people who like, just like you guys, just started out as like going, and then you're like, oh, I love and appreciate this, and I want to help build it.
That's where vision is casted.
Yeah.
Because if it's not a playbook model, it's hard. It's hard for anyone to understand until they experience it.
That's like a tough thing for us, is like when we've had people who have like applied to the store, and we've had plenty of them that like they've never stepped foot into a triad. And it's just like, I understand, hey, you want a summer job or something like that. And like me trying to explain to somebody who, has never shopped with us, that is looking for like, I always get like the emails where it'll be like, looking for, are you guys looking for any cashiers? And I'm like, that's a dirty word here. Don't use the word cashier. But it's just like, explaining to somebody, it's like, hey, this is, our training is, a month long. You are going to, within training, I think we take 4 tests. One of those tests, including our like final in-house test, your like earn your polo test, is a handwritten test that I think on average it's handwritten. I think we average like 8 to 12 hours of how long it takes to to literally take the test.
Wow.
All in one sitting kind of deal. And so like you go through a month of training, you do a practice test about halfway through. And then, your last day of training to earn your polo is you take a test over like supplement knowledge. And it is no joke. It is every bit of, a 10-hour test that's handwritten, and you are a zombie afterwards, because it's one of those things. And again, and explaining this to, some kid who's looking, if we have a cashier position, like, brother, like, I appreciate your interest, but like, you're not going to want to take a 10-hour test to work here, because you don't understand, why we take a 10-hour test. We take it so that, we can control that. Somebody, you can get on TikTok Shop and probably buy a supplement cheaper than we can sell it for. Whether that supplement's real or not, I don't know. But it's one of some of those prices, I'm like, I don't know if those are real. But it's one of those things where if you see a Triad employee in a polo, you can ask them a question, and they should know the answer. If they don't, they'll tell you they don't, and they'll figure it out. And those are those things that it's like we know that like controlling, whether it's versus, I hate to say competition because we don't even view it that way, but it's just like, we know versus TikTok shop, like we're going to be able to provide more knowledge, more help, all of those kind of things that, you might be able to get it for a couple bucks cheaper from that website or whatever, but you're not going to be able to get the experience that we can offer.
And I think that's one of the hardest lessons we're learning as small business owners, is because I feel like the first couple of years you want to cater to them all, right? Well, actually, should I hire this college kid that only needs a summer job? Like, do I change my process?
Right.
Do we need to make our membership rates cheaper? Do we need to change our workouts because we got one piece of feedback? And I think that's kind of what we've lived in, is almost wanting to cater to everyone instead of just saying, hey, this isn't the right person.
Right.
And because we know what we know we bring to the table. I think that's a big, I guess, next milestone in business ownership that I feel like we're almost at.
Yeah, we're working on it. Sometimes we get caught up in like, well, they're doing this over here, and maybe we should be doing it that way, or maybe maybe we should change it a little bit. Like that is a very difficult thing, because like it's so easy to just get locked on what other people are doing, and sometimes you got to remind yourself. Like I think even in this conversation, it's reminding us of like the value that we bring to people.
Right.
You guys can do what you do best better than you can do what someone else down the street's doing. So, or trying to copy them. So,
good reminder.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the thing too, is it's like, because price can be a hurdle for like anything. And for you guys, I know for sure. And that's the thing that's like so tough. It's like, and that's why I think like your 90 for 9, all that kind of stuff is like a really good idea, because, when you go apples to apples,
on paper,
right? It's just like, hey, I could go there for this, or like I could go to, name a, some big box gym, right?
Yeah.
Exactly, and it's going to cost me $30 a month, and it's like, right, but like we're not selling a gym. Like we're selling a community, we're selling family, we're selling like all of these things. Like, there's nothing wrong against people who go to big box gyms. You know what I mean? I totally understand that. But even in my jujitsu experience, because jujitsu and FitCamp180, those kind of style gyms, like price range is like pretty typical. And people are like sometimes taken aback by it. And it's just like, but you know what? Like, I'm going to meet people who are going to be my groomsmen in my wedding. And I did, and I want to go to the gym. Like my wife tells me all the time, she's like, I'm just so proud of you. Like you're so disciplined and like going to the gym like early in the morning, which is like, we've got like I get there at like 7:30. So it's not that early, but it's like, she's like, you're so disciplined. I'm like just getting up and like wanting to go to the gym. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, jiu-jitsu? Oh yeah, I guess that is the gym. Like, no, I don't. I'm just going to hang out with my friends and like, if it had zero health benefits, like literally zero, I would still go and do it. So it's just like because of the community, because of the family, because the people I'm around, and I really enjoy what I'm doing, and I find that fun. And again, the intimacy that comes from like doing something so difficult, like with a partner, it's like you make like such like wonderful friendships so quickly.
There's so many walls that are broken that in a normal setting would take years in a dating relationship or a friendship, especially with men.
Oh yeah.
To just kind of break down those
and
walls.
Roll around together, sweating each other's eyeballs, and you'll be besties.
You just cut
after.
that time down by at least 24 months.
It's funny. Like I literally tell people, I will be at an open mat somewhere. I will roll with somebody one time, and I'll like fast forward 6 months, and we're like sending each other memes on Instagram. And that's the only time we've ever seen each other in person. Or I've like competed against people who it's like, I chat with this dude on Instagram. Like what I mean? Like we have contact still, and it's like it's so funny. I've literally had like one interaction with you where we didn't even really talk like during the thing, but it's like there is something to that is so powerful.
Yeah. So you guys are at about a year of working together full time.
We're
about getting close to it.
May.
Close
was it
to
May last year? Yeah.
How has it been?
It's been good. I think it's been like a little bit challenging on the money aspect, because I was a software developer, so I brought in a good portion, and things got really stressful at my job. And so I was just like trying to make it work, thinking about going somewhere else. And then my wife, being supportive as she is, she was like, you don't have to stay there, right? She's like, we obviously won't make as much, and we are profitable, but we can figure it out. And you can sell the stock that you have, and we'll just see, maybe we can make this work. Maybe you have to find something else, but you're capable.
He's saying it way nicer than I am. I'm like, you are not a prisoner to a paycheck. Get out of here.
That's what she said. Right?
You are not a prisoner to a
You
paycheck.
can leave it. And I was like, for real? Like you're okay with that? Like as long as she's okay, because I mean, we don't have any kids or anything like that. And it's just us two. And we're in a good financial position because of the 2 jobs that we had and stuff like that. So I was like, well, I mean, if you're okay with this, then let's just work, I'll work on the business, and worst case, I'll find something if I need to.
Right.
And so that's what
can always get a job.
Yeah, can always get a job. And so that's where we've been. And the hard part is just figuring out where I've gotten more and more where I'm providing more and more value in different areas. But the tricky part is like, there's a lot of part of me that's still a software developer. And so I'm like, I still want to work on software over here, but then the business demands so many things. It's like, well, we really need sales over here, or we need to follow up over here. And I'm like, all right, well, I could write some software for us, but that takes time. We don't have time. All right, let's go. Like, okay, let's start doing these other things. And so
don't always get to work on the things that you want.
That you want to. Yeah, you work on the things that are urgent and you need to prioritize. And so that's been the biggest challenge. And I've also just knowing that she had all this on her plate. Like I'm feeling it now. I'm like, how did you ever do this without me? Like without someone else to help you? It's like, wow, you had a real burden on your hands, like in a good way. Like she was doing it for a reason, but I was like, man, I don't know how you managed this long.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know how I have either.
Hard to remember what it was like before you were around.
Right.
So how often do you guys find yourself talking about the business?
Oh, we've tried to challenge ourselves to not. And then we start talking about more fun parts of the business.
Still a business.
But there is not a day that we're not talking about.
Yeah, we typically talk about it. We have to like strategize on like, okay, we have these cards. I think what are they called? Get deep.
Yeah.
Okay, get deep, and they'll give you prompts, and so these prompts will help like get you off into like talking about different things in life, but sometimes it'll still circle
Find
back.
our way back.
All right, next topic. When
it gets back to business, then we move to the next card.
We enrolled in an improv 6-week course, and that has helped.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Heck yeah. That's there's something fun about it though. Like I know when Alyssa first started working at Triad, it was very much more of hey, please come help kind of situation. We need you really badly. She has a degree in social work and she left that career field and was working at the Edmond Animal Shelter. Loved that job. She would probably still be there if she wasn't working here. But she was helping out in 2018. So it was our 3rd year of business, first year on my own. And she was helping out with various things. She started helping out in 2018 with placing orders, working with inventory, and a few other things just kind of randomly on nights and weekends. And it seems like she was enjoying helping. And it got to the point where in 2019, we got quite a bit busier and therefore had more work. And it was like, hey, can you come on full time? And she was like, I've been waiting for you to ask this. So she came on a few months into 2019 and has been here ever since full time. And it was our first week. I remember it being like really, really fun. We went through this with Thomas together as well. It was like we both get to go to work together again when he came back full time. But Alyssa and I getting to drive to work together and be at work together. And we got home. It was one of the nights, the very first week, that I started talking to her about something related to the store. And I was like, what if we did this, or we changed this, or did this for marketing? I can't remember what it was. And she said, hey, we're home for the day. Like I'd probably rather not talk about the business. And I was like, oh, okay. Like that's fair. It's, it's pretty late at night. So, so it's like, okay, that's, generally the rule. We won't talk about it when we're at home, but like, I really like talking about it and I think about it a lot. And then I think it was the second weekend. I'm avoiding talking about the company or business or anything. And she starts talking about it. She's like, I wonder if we did this, or what if we changed this to do this way? And it was like, okay, now you get it. And so now
That's
it's just,
him.
it's like we get to share ideas and build something together. And there's definitely stressful moments. And there was a lot of boundaries that her and I had to learn of how to give each other respect, and let each other do each other's jobs, because a lot of our stuff does line up together. And but it's been a lot more fun than it has been stressful. That's for sure. So,
Right.
yeah.
And I think that's one of like the most important lessons I'm learning is just because it's not done your way doesn't mean it's not being done a good way. And and you're just learning coming from like Devin, training the classes. He's always been involved on that side. But when it came to everything else, just knowing SOPs and things that I lacked to have to calm down and settle down and slow down to teach, him, but then also giving him autonomy to say, hey, you've done it this way for 3 years and we're okay, but have you considered and humbling myself to be able to receive that feedback, but also slow down enough I feel like you've got to, take a couple steps back to take more steps forward.
Right.
And it's hard.
It is.
It's really hard for me.
This is one of the things I know Kevin has talked about a lot, is like you realize how good people are at these things that like we lack at. Not to say that it's not always difficult, because there's definitely difficult times, but there is something of like finding and realizing like, oh man, like you are good at SOPs. Like you should keep doing more of this. You know what I mean? And, but yeah, I can't even imagine from Kevin's perspective, but imagine having a supplement company where we're creating a product and your favorite flavor doesn't get picked. And you own the supplement company. It's like, this is my favorite flavor. And everyone's like, no. And he's like, but that's my favorite flavor.
And everybody else is like, this one was really good. We should do this one. And I'm like, I didn't really like that one.
I feel that in my soul.
Oh, yeah.
Merch, logo, what? I'm like, why?
We are doing that today. Actually, we're designing some new shirts, and we have a clothing group of people that are a little bit more fashion oriented.
The children.
And I'm sending shirt designs, and I'm like, hey, just like, just so you guys know, like this isn't generally my style. So I do need feedback on it. Here's kind of what direction should we take? Okay, people want this type of shirt. Okay, we'll put this together. Throw a design to the group that's like, okay, it kind of caters to the young people, but still kind of has like, it's not like fully like, we wouldn't have, someone that's in their 30s or 40s like come in and look at it and be like, oh my gosh, is this a kid's store? Like it's so I try to put something like that together, and then I send it to the group and crickets, nothing. I'm like, okay, I guess this one's not very good. Can you guys just give me some direction here? And then they send something that I'm like, what is that? That is ugly.
6'7".
Yeah, right.
Like, this is terrible. Like, what happened to fashion, guys? Like,
where you're like, oh yeah, like, okay, so you're telling me as a business, we're going to make a shirt that I would have gotten made fun of in high school for wearing.
yes, 100%.
100%
And they're
correct.
like, yeah, no, this is cool.
And everybody's like, oh my gosh, this one's so cool. We should definitely do this one. Exclamation point. Like,
yeah.
what is happening, guys?
That's it. Like we get a lot of like, especially with the younger ones, where they're like, you ever see those like metal bands where they have the logo you can barely read because it looks like spider legs almost, and it's all like crazy looking. I cannot tell you how many of our employees have been like, we gotta make a triad one of those, and I'm like, really? And they're like, yeah, it would be so sick. Or make a define one. We're like, are we sure? And we're like, no, we're drawing the line there. We're not doing that. Like, it's like, at least yet. But it's like one of those where you're just like,
Next month, guys.
yeah, it's like,
It's coming.
that's really like what would be popular. And again, we have a very large demographic of people. So I think it is like good to have perspective of like, yes, you think, because that was a big thing where it was like, we started doing some of the oversized shirts, and the kids these days, they love their oversized shirts. And we're like, okay. And they were like, yeah, we should stop doing the next level, like the triad shirt that everyone everyone is known for forever. And you're like, no, guys. We have a lot of people who shop with us who are like 30s, 40s, 50s who love these shirts. Like we're not getting rid of, yes, it would be very popular amongst our 18-year-old demographic, but like we got to also keep in mind that we have a lot of people who are not 18 years old.
The vast majority of our customer base does actually want the style of shirts.
Right, exactly. They are like adults who don't want the death metal triad shirt.
They reached that part of their life that they're probably buying more supplements.
Right, exactly.
I have said that as well. It's like, we do want to cater a little bit to the people that do have money. So
right. It's too funny. Cause but that's why I think it's good to have, the difference in our ages, the demographic that we have within those kind of groups. Cause it's like, we need perspective on multiple sides, not just what our youngest employees think is cool anymore. It's like, we're going to make sure we've got everything. Like, don't get me wrong. We don't want to be, coming out with something that like, we always used to make fun of it. There was the company we used to work for. It was like, it was probably like 2014, 2013. They did like a marketing thing where they did the like, what's up? Like old Super Bowl commercial. And we were like,
it was like 10 years after it was popular.
If not more. Like, it's like, this was probably like 13 years ago, guys, and it's like, and then, you were all kind of laughing at like, guys, like we don't want to do that, but then you like start looking at the comments and everyone who was the age of the owners of the company were like, this is awesome. Like, this is so funny. And we're like, okay, I guess, that's kind of the thing. You know what I mean? There's some
anything that can take them back, man.
Right, exactly.
Throwback Thursday. That's our playlist, and they're jamming. The good old days.
That's right. It's just, but that is a challenging part of it too. It's just, staying relevant within the space as well of like having being able to cater to a giant age demographic. Like,
what was the situation? She just reminded me of the music, the throwback music when we were painting the Edmond store with Ramsey, and he had on Red Hot Chili Peppers. And I think both of us were like singing to it, and we were like, who put this on? And Ramsey's like, I just put on like oldies.
Oh man, it was tough.
That hurts. That's my nephew when he comes into our place. He's like, their music stinks. I'm like, what? Our music is great.
He was like, just put on some like oldies playlist, and they're like, no,
just stabbed us both in the heart.
Yeah, I was like, it is funny because there's like that popular, I know Ryan used to listen to it a lot, and it's like, it's a pretty popular one, but it's like a playlist on Spotify. It's called like Divorced Dad Rock. And it's like, why do I know every lyric to every song on these? This is terrible. But that's, everybody, every generation goes through it, but it's that like, I remember it being funny too, because it was Red Hot Chili Peppers and then like Tom Petty. It was like something from the 70s. And they're like, why are these together? Like, I get it, but like this hurts. Like, this is like, those are very different time frames. Like, stop.
To Ramsey, our one of our child employees. It's just like
all of our infant employees.
All back when you were all when everything was just on records, right?
Yeah, right.
Oh no.
Like it's all 20 years ago, 50 years ago, it's all the same.
I remember I saw a like video where they were doing, I want to say it was NBA players, which makes it even worse because the NBA is like super young for sure. But it was like they had an array of NBA players of like different ages. And it was like they were showing them pictures of stuff and they were seeing if they knew what something was. Mm-hmm. And one of the ones where it was like 75% of them didn't know what it was a GameCube. And I'm like, and they were like, is that a Nintendo 64? And they're like, no, that's a GameCube. Like, come on. Like, I was already like halfway done playing video games when this came out. Like, what are we talking about?
Oh yeah, not even my first console.
No, yeah, not even close.
Right.
I'm like, that hurt. You guys don't even know what it is.
You don't know what it was like to have to have dial up for your internet.
That's right.
My dad yelling at me, did you get on the phone? You knocked me off the internet. They'll never understand.
We had a gateway computer. I was like, that was way back. Gateway, AOL.
AOL dial-up.
That's
got
right.
in trouble every day. Got home after school, got on the phone to call my friends, my dad. I knew I was in trouble. Brittany Michelle. I'm like, yeah. He was on the internet.
That's right.
Now the kids can get on the internet anytime they want.
That's crazy. Too much.
This one might be inappropriate, so we can cut it if we need to. But Alyssa found something today that she thought was really funny. She's like, all the delinquents in high school back when we were kids had to poke holes in soda cans and hide out in alleyways to smoke weed. And now kids these days can just rip a vape pen in the middle of Target. It's like,
Too ashamed.
Literally, though.
They don't have to fight for anything.
That's right. That's right. What a...
Coming soon, it's going to be prescribed to them.
Literally. Yeah, right. It's just weird. It's crazy. It's
Times are different.
Yeah, it's right.
They don't realize how good they got it.
Back in my day.
We sound like
right.
Handwritten notes. That's what it was. Handwritten notes.
That's right. Yeah.
now they're canceling school and they've got other classes canceled the next week. And I'm like, that would have never happened when I was in elementary.
Well, it's so literally, that's such a funny thing because one of my favorite things to make myself sound old when I'm talking to the infant employees that we have is that my elementary school didn't have air conditioning. Like at all.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Didn't have air conditioning at all.
That's actually pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, I'm 73 years old.
I don't know if that was the time or the area that you went to school in.
Yeah. I think they got it like my third grade year or something like that. But before that, I remember we had school got canceled one day because it was too hot.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was like 100 and something degrees, and they were like, we don't have air conditioning.
Yeah, maybe that was just your school district.
I mean, I'm from South Oklahoma City, so I know about like living in the hood. I think it
Did you have air conditioning?
sometimes it wasn't because the AC wasn't existent.
Yeah.
It was just like broken.
Yeah, when we started.
Not because we're old, because we're hood rats.
Right. When we started realizing, because we have employees, they'll fill out their new hire paperwork, or I'll talk to them and it'll be like, what year were you born? And they're like, 07. And I'm like, 2007? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like,
I was graduating high school.
yeah. I'm like, 9/11 was crazy, by the way. It was a crazy day for all of us. You wouldn't know. It's like, yeah, they're like, yeah, no, 2007. I'm like, what? I could be your father. I could be your father. I would have been in trouble. I would have gotten, but I could be your father. I could
Technically, scientifically, you could have.
Yes.
I'm going to rant for just 1 second because I know you you see the emails that we get from people, or I assume you see the emails that we get from people asking for jobs. Kids that get on our website and apply or essentially go to the tab where it gives you if you're looking for a job, just fill something out here. It's just like a note section kind of deal. Use proper grammar when you ask for a job because that's, maybe checkbox number one when we're looking for people to hire is when you say, I'm looking for a job, you capitalize the letter I in I'm. So. And
at this point, you just throw it in chat and polish it. It is so easy now.
It's so easy just
There's no excuse.
That's another thing. How do people especially with all the online classes and things that everybody has, how do schools monitor kids not just using ChatGPT for everything? I don't think they are. They're just.
I think they're at a point that they're just get them through and out of my class, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah.
Not all of them.
Right.
I see a lot of people moving to more homeschool, and I think that might be part of it. It's just not able to control the environment very well with the technology and everything going on, and
doing homework. You don't have to actually learn it. Just that's crazy.
And it puts teachers in an impossible spot.
Literally.
Right. Yeah. How do you police that?
Right.
They can't.
Yeah, I'm sure there's I know there's different things that they can put things in, and it's was this paper written by ChatGPT or whatever, but there's a lot of you just change a few things here and there, and I'm sure it's fine. I'm sure they're able to get through that, but it's I wouldn't have learned a thing. Yeah, I wouldn't have learned
college though.
I would not have learned a thing.
Hey, we know what ChatGPT is. We use it sometimes. We're not that young, or we're not that old. I mean,
that's right.
Yeah.
We're not that young either.
Yeah, it is also true.
Yeah. Oh man. What do you feel like has been some of the like bigger challenges for you guys since like getting open? How long have you been open now?
Over 3 years.
That's right.
3 years was October 31st.
Yeah. I think it's always, it's one of the things we do on the podcast a lot is just like talk about different challenges. And I love sharing the story of our Yukon location because we opened in November, right?
I think so, yeah.
I think it was November. The HVAC unit, like the gas line wasn't ran to the building until like the middle of January.
I forgot
so
how
we
cold
went
it
like
was in there.
November, December, and most of January with no heat at all. Like we literally, I remember there being a time we had a small space heater under the table in front of us, like if you're sitting in the back, and then we had like 2 space heaters that would like triangulate you in. So it was like you just sit in this middle, this like heat zone. And that was, that's how we did it. We were just,
I forget about that sometimes.
Yep. We would just freeze all the time. It was so cold.
But it was like we've got the employees, we have them on payroll, we're paying rent. Do we just not we stay closed and not have that income?
We didn't know we didn't have gas until our first winter.
Yeah.
You people wearing beanies and gloves, but you could see them breathe. Yes.
Steam coming
It
out
wasn't
of,
even breath anymore. It was steam.
Yeah, it was steam just coming out.
Especially after the workout.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember one girl, she was on the floor and then she like looked, she's like, am I steaming? And just steam was just coming off.
Am I on fire?
That's too funny. That's how it goes though. Oh man.
There's just things that you don't know.
Oh yeah.
We had never leased a building before. We didn't know.
Things you don't even have control over sometimes too. Like that's always like super fun. All the little things you have to do, all the hoops you have to jump through. And then you're like, oh yeah, I have zero control over this.
Yeah. You just gotta put one foot forward and get going though.
That's it.
I think it was, it's in Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Where it talks about the analogy of starting a business, waiting to start a business until you know everything and everything is perfect. It's like waiting to go on a road trip, waiting for every single light to turn green.
Yeah.
So,
that's a really good analogy.
Never happens. So,
Well, and I think that if you knew all the details too, and I talk about that just kind of in our season now, that there's a lot of unknown, and there are decisions that we made 3 years ago that, had we known what we know now, would those things have looked different? And I like God does those things on purpose.
Right.
He doesn't show you the full picture.
Right.
Because if you knew everything, then you'd get in your own way. Fear would take over. And so I think it's just a matter of one step after the next.
Right. You'd know all the obstacles and that would probably be like too much. It would be really easy to just be like, this is why I'm not going to do this. Like if we knew all the challenges and trials and things, I think we would have been like,
I had no idea.
I could probably do something else. Yeah.
But that's not how he uses you. He's like, no, you got to go through all that because I'm doing something else on this side.
That's exactly
that part doesn't work until you go through this part.
Yep. You got to learn by doing this, and then we're going to change it, and you're going to have to adapt to it. So, yeah.
But it's crazy how he puts those things like when you don't know that that's what's happening, but he's preparing you.
Yep.
And even some of our, like we've got a goal to, buy land and buy a building one day. And I think that even going through what we've learned with leasing and landlord responsibility, all of those things, all of those headaches in the moment, I would have known all of those things.
Right.
And I would just think, owning a building would be so fun.
Right.
No rent payment. Cool.
Yeah. And now you're looking at it like, okay, like the loan for owning a building is a lot more substantial. And then I get to have that equity as an asset.
But then I know how to consider property management because if someone calls me, I don't know how to fix the leak on the roof. So, all of the things that are a pain in the butt now are also, I feel like, preparation for your next step.
Absolutely. And I think it's one of those things where, as funny as it is there is a million books written on it, but there's no real book written on like how to run a business. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of like figure it out as you go, but then you're like, you hit some stumbling thing or you realize this is like, oh no, we actually can't do that. Okay. That's interesting. I had no idea, like whatever it looks like, you start like navigating through all those things. And that's like how you become, I don't want to use the word master, but just like understand like, all of these different situations and how to handle them. Again, if it was, again, if we could just chat GPT our way into a business, like we wouldn't learn anything from it. We wouldn't have any of the value that we continue to take forward into like making it a better business or helping other businesses or whatever.
I think there's so many nuances too that you couldn't write a single book. You couldn't, chat GPT couldn't make every decision for you. So it's, just something that and then you run into decisions or like tough decisions that you've had to make in the past again. And you're like, oh, like I actually know all about this. Because, and it's like a super gratifying moment because it's super easy to handle. And then you're working with people that have no idea and you like fully explain the entire situation. And you're like, okay, like, hey, I'm kind of smart with a couple of things.
Yeah.
So. We got to watch some of our friends. They just opened a new gym in Edmond, and I still definitely don't think we have it all together, but some of the questions that they came to us with and the ways that we were able to just invest in them, I'm like, we've kind of learned some things. And like you don't give yourself that credit until, again, something forces you to reflect and be like, actually.
Right. Well, and again, you start talking about God and you talk about, those are the trials and tribulations that, you guys went through because part of his plan was for you guys to help them so that they could, create what they're creating and help the people that they're helping. And I think that is like such a cool aspect to all of it. Is like, you just realize like, if you are a godly person, how much there is like that effect on things and like all of these things, like, he says be grateful in all situations, right? And that's a really tough thing sometimes, I think, kind of off topic here, but like on that point, like, my wife and I, we just got a dog recently and, we've only had him for a few months and he's the coolest thing in the entire world. He's like I don't know. I didn't know what life was prior to him. You know what I mean? And
I do because I only have 4 children.
And a couple months into us having him, like my wife was luckily home with him, but he just like randomly had a seizure, just like a full on seizure. And my wife calls me wailing. Like I've never heard her wail. And so. Everything's okay. He's doing great. And, this was about a month or so ago and like, he's doing really awesome. And, I remember just like kind of sitting there praying about it. And I didn't know because I was reading 1 Thessalonians where it kind of talks about, being grateful in all situations. And I struggled with that of like, how do I be grateful in this moment? Like, how do I sit there and thank God my dog had a seizure? You know what I mean? And like, I think, in that he's talking about, be grateful in all situations, not just when things work out, and I think that was something that was like really powerful for me as I kind of sat there and I prayed about it of like, you know what though, since that day, since, 3:02 on January 7th, when my wife called me in that situation, I have not taken a single moment for granted with him. Like I have put my phone down. I've been more intentional. I've gone on the extra walk. I've done the extra because like you realize like, oh, this could all just go away at a moment's notice. And I think, like it's made me more intentional with my wife. It's made me more intentional with my work. It's made me more intentional with my relationships with people around. And it's something is like, I am grateful that, as tough of a way to have that brought to me is like, I am in a weird way, like thankful. I thank God that happened because of the changes that it's provided in my life to be able to provide in other people's lives or whatever. And so I think that is something that, we look at these challenges in business and in life, and it's really easy to be like, God, why are we doing this? Why did this happen? Why did this happen this way? How many times has triad not been a thing almost because of some decision or something that we made? And then we look, we fast forward now 10 years in and it's like, we've been able to, I'm thankful for those things when we were not thankful for them in the moment. We're thankful for them now. And I can look back and thank God for those things because now I understand how we can use that, how we can, make sure that we're making better decisions, help people make better decisions, all of those kind of things that we would just not know if those kind of things didn't happen. And so I think those are like the tough things when we talk about this, and kind of even to the name of the podcast being Unsuccessful Entrepreneur is like we celebrate our unsuccessfulness at times because those are the trials and tribulations that we learned how to be successful and how to help people. And so it's, I think that that's why some of those stories, they're not fun in the moment, but when you look back on them, you can really appreciate them. Oh,
it does. It makes you so much more grateful. And I think that as business owners, we get so busy and I think we get amnesia that, that we have been able to use those things for good. And that's what God says. Like he will always use, those things for good. And there's one thing that I've really started challenging myself, and that's writing these things down. Pastor Craig from Life Church, he challenges people to have like a 5-year journal where the same date, you'll write something, line 1, the same date the next year, you write something on line 2, but then you'll see what was that big thing or what you were praying for, what was the disaster, and it forces you to go back and say, wow, like that, I thought that was the hardest time in my life, or I didn't understand, or I was so mad at him or at God or at this situation. And then it forces you to go back and be like, had that not happened, all of these, and if you're not intentional, you'll forget it.
Yeah.
And I know I'm very forgetful.
Sure.
I didn't used to be. I used to be on time. I used to remember everything until I opened a business.
Well, and there's so many of those things that happen in life too. I know, like my wife, because she worked at Paycom for 5 years, she ended up leaving, and we were kind of like, okay, hey, we're in a position for you to find another job, and she, no offense at Paycom, she wanted something that she felt was a little bit more meaningful, versus what she was doing. She's like, I don't feel like I'm helping people. I'm selling payroll, which is fine. There's a need for that. And I remember we had a situation where, she had applied to Blood Cancer United, which is the very large, like blood cancer nonprofit, national, huge thing. And she had something happen where I think she thought she sent her resume in, but she actually hadn't. It was like in her drafts. And by the time she sent her resume in, because they were like telling her to, and keep in mind, she'd applied for 1,000 jobs at this point. Like when she sent her resume in, they were like, we're so sorry. Like we filled the position. And she was just devastated and upset with herself and all those kind of things. And again, this is like, how do we be grateful in this moment, of like this situation? And then fast forward like a month later or 2 months later, and she ends up getting a job at Blood Cancer United. The job up, you know what I mean? It was like, she would have been like an administrative assistant, which is a great job, but now she's like a fundraising, leader. And it's like this much better thing that works much better, like not just financially, but also for her goals and what she wants to be doing in life. Like it's so easy to see these things and wonder like, why didn't this work out this way or whatever? And I'm like, look, we're so thankful that your resume didn't send now, like because of the position that you're in. But in those moments, like, how many nights crying did we have because you were so upset? And now it's like, well, God was just right here with the opportunity that was right for you. And that's why that email didn't send. And so I think it's like such a powerful thing to like, I think it happens a lot in business where people don't have that perspective, but like, if we can take a second, like we were talking about earlier, and just smell the roses and realize that like we've all like mistaken our way to where we are right now. And that's, like, I'm so thankful that I have all those mistakes and all these things that have led me here, because now, I can navigate this thing and I'll mess up a whole bunch more things, and that'll make it so that we can do the right stuff after that. And so it's, it's tough to sit back and always like think about this and be thankful for them. But here we are.
They're still painful in the moment, and it stings and it's real, but
it's that fun balance. You know what I mean?
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just thinking like, there's been a lot of things where we're like testing the waters, like, trying something out, or like even recently a job opportunity came up and we're like, am I going to go here? Is this God like providing this opportunity for us to make a little extra income? Because it's actually a really like ideal spot for me. But I could also work on the business, and I'm like, is this a test?
Because when he left, it wasn't supposed to be permanent.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be permanent. And
but
I'm
then
like,
we kind of loved it.
Are we going, should I go back? And like my mentality is like, okay, God, shut the door if it's supposed to be shut. Like you will shut the door, and it might hurt a little. Like if they're like, no, you're not the one, then that's fine. I had to be okay with that. Like God's got something else planned. And it also takes me back to like a thought that we have in software that we all bring it up a lot. It's like fail and fail fast. Like fail as fast as you can so you can learn from it, and then you can grow off of that. So like stop being so afraid to take the risk. Go ahead and let yourself fail so you can like move on from it versus like being so afraid to move. And so I'm trying to be in that mindset. I'm like, okay, well, there's this new thing, you know, we're talking about now with like, maybe we should try working on the software thing over here. I'm like, okay, maybe we just fail and fail fast. Like, you know, worst case is successful. Right. You know, we fail and then we try something else.
Yep.
And you learn from it.
We've been there with marketing a few times.
Oh yeah.
How many failed marketing attempts have we had?
Like 2,000.
Yeah. How many successful ones have we had?
Like 6.
But those 6 came from the 2000.
Right. Those 6 work really, really, really well.
That's exactly right.
You're a step further than me because I couldn't tell you the ones that worked for us. So maybe at year 10, I'll be there. I'm like, I don't know which ones worked. God brought them in. I have no idea. Our clients are really good to us and tell people. Because our marketing.
But you did do that one boost. That was helpful. that one time worked.
Okay.
Hey, that's what you got to do.
Yeah. Maybe do that one again if the opportunity comes up. So
yeah, it's that is I mean, we've done ones we're proud of. Yeah. We've done ones we're less proud of.
You got to do what you got to do when it's when it's like, hey,
nothing unethical, but just places we didn't want to have to ever be.
Yeah, like
flyering parking lots.
Yeah, but it's like it's one of those like we open the business not intending to have to do stuff like that, like really like scrappy marketing like that. But it's like, okay, like we've got this business that we started and we've got thousands of dollars in bills every month and nobody's coming in the door. So like, it's either like do that or go out of business. So it's like, we gotta, let's not be afraid to try some things.
That's right.
So.
It's a mentality I got from my wife. My wife coaches volleyball at an exceptionally high level. She coaches club volleyball and coaches school volleyball also, but I'm so proud of her. She's such a big time coach, and I get to coach with her now, and I have for the last 2 years, and it's my absolute favorite thing that I get to do with my wife. It's so much fun. But one of the things my wife says a lot in like coaching situations, and I think it's something that like we've adopted, and I think everybody does in their own way. Like you've been kind of talking about this, but my wife like will always say like, don't lose a game with timeouts in your pocket. Like use everything you've got. Like why lose a game? Like I don't care if it's, you know, if volleyball goes to 25, like I don't care if it's 24-9. Like if I got timeouts, I'm using them because you never know. Like I don't care what that looks like. I don't care what the score says. Like I'm not ending this game with timeouts left over because like I'm going to use everything at my disposal. And I think it's the same kind of thing. Like we're talking, like don't lose your business because you're too prideful to parking lot flyer. Like we weren't, you know what? We swallowed our pride and we're like, you know what? Hey, if 3 people come from this, great. And hopefully the people who are really upset about it forget our name and then they find us later and don't associate it, you know? Like, but again,
it's okay. Like have, you know, 100 people upset at us and 3 people in door, or nobody upset at us and nobody in the door.
Right.
So
we need the 3. So
the more cringy version of that is sitting back and not doing anything. So.
Exactly.
No. It reminds me of like, I don't remember whenever we were starting, remember we were handing out flyers. There's a festival.
Yeah, it was at the 4th of July festival.
4th of July festival. And we like made a competition. She's like, all right, this is the only way I'll do this. Like make a competition. How many people can you get to versus how many people I can get to? And like we'd go and like try to talk to you like, hey, we're opening up, you know, this time and we have pump in the parks, blah, blah, blah. And like we'd give them our flyer. And yeah, it was that super like awkward exchange of like,
you have to swallow your pride there. So you get to replace it with the competition.
Yes. And I think it's so crazy because I came from a sales background, but when it's yours, it brings out this whole new level of insecurity and sensitivity. Like I sold for Cintas. No one wanted to talk to me about toilet paper containers and holders, but I sold Dave & Buster's on a national account. Okay. So, but there was never any like anxiety.
Right.
But the opportunity to come in and tell someone that like, this will change you inside and out.
Right.
Like a place that I quit my 6-figure job because I believed in. So like, no, I'm like, I don't want to make them uncomfortable. I don't want to sell. It is the wildest thing.
Yep.
And I don't know where that comes from. But
I think I've got a good story that would maybe explain, at least explains it for me. But I remember when we first released, it was one of our earlier on defined products, and we released it in early 2018. So it was me in business by myself at this point, and it was like a formula that I put together personally. I put a lot of time and effort into it. I got input from other people, but ultimately it was just me. It wasn't previous partners and us collaborating and agreeing on this. It was, this is mine. And we released it and it was really popular. We had a lot of people like it, but I had one lady come in and just rip it to shreds. This was absolutely terrible. It turns out she was taking it incorrectly, but it was like, she's like, this is terrible. I don't know why you would have ever made something like this. It was the worst experience I've ever had. Please do not recommend this to anybody else. And I am like sitting here, like having to like take this. And I'm like, you don't understand. Like I have like invested like so much time and effort, not to mention like our last dollars in our bank account to this product. And you just like ripped it to shreds because you didn't take it the right way. And I'm like, okay. So, that was terrible. So it's because like I couldn't, it wasn't just, I think it was because I'm not just representing something that somebody else made. It's like, this is all me. So like, if you like dog on it at all, it's like, it feels like a more of a reflection on just me. So,
Yeah, that is how it is funny when somebody's like, I hate this supplement. And I'm like, yeah, no, I get it. And they're like, I hate this. I'm like, why?
It's like you called my kid ugly. Like it's literally like, I feel like you called my child ugly.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't know what that actually feels like, but it probably feels like
imagine.
when you tell me that you don't want to sign up for a membership or you want to cancel. I'm like,
right.
My baby's not ugly.
Yes. Yeah, you don't know either. Your kids are too cute. You don't know what it's like to have
you have no idea what that. No one would ever.
I don't know for sure on that.
Don't throw your supplements out before they ever call your children ugly. Okay. They're beautiful.
You can rip them to shreds online if you want to. Yeah, before you say anything about my kids.
No, that is, I think it's a tough thing. And I think that's part of like, business too is, and I think this is something that's taken, I know me personally a long time, and I'm sure you, and even to varying degrees, I still haven't, always been there with this, but is like just that understanding of like, hey, we're not going to be for everybody. And that's okay. You know what I mean? And
there's no way you can be.
Right. And there's, something that, if you're a fan of the podcast, like you've heard us say this a million times, is like when you start compromising to try to be for everybody, you know what I mean? Like you've got the group class but we've also got a side gym that you could just go do your own workouts if you want to do that. You start getting into this weird, like, the phrase that we use a lot is, just because we've seen it happen, or varying degrees of this, but it's like, don't make pina colada without the coconut. And like the reason we say that is because you get these like brands who are like trying to be so much for everyone, where it's like, okay, I'm going to make this pina colada product, but like, but some people don't like coconut. So what if I made this pina colada, but then it didn't have coconut? And you're like, okay, I see the logic on that. But then you actually get an end product that people who don't like pina colada were never going to pick up in the first place. And the people who do like pina colada go, this doesn't taste like this doesn't taste like pina colada. And so like you end up losing everyone because you're trying to bring in everyone. And so it's like, I think there's obviously varying degrees of this, but it's like, don't lose sight of what, you're trying to do and trying to accomplish, because that your flavor is not going to be for everyone, and that's okay. So focus on, making it for those people, and maybe having, for us, it's like, it's obviously we make a variety of flavors of things, but I just like, there was this product, and this is where this like came from. I forget exactly what it was called, but it was called like, had like cuss words in it even. It was like super effing sour or something like that. And I remember being like, oh, I love sour stuff. Like this will be awesome. And I like picked it up and I tried it and I was like, that's not sour at all. Like that's like barely kind of sour. Like it's just like your run of the mill, like sour, whatever product. And I was like, who is this for? Who's going to buy this? Because if you have something like that intense of a name, well, then you want people who want stuff that you're obviously going for people who really like sour stuff. And I love sour stuff. And I'm like, well, this isn't sour. And then the people who don't like sour stuff were never going to buy something called like extra effing sour. You know what I mean? Like nobody would have ever done that. So like, why, who is this for? I don't understand who this product is for. And it was for nobody and it didn't last very long. But I think that's kind of like, I think we, again, kind of see that a lot in business where it's hard to like not take those things personally. But at the same moment, like I think about this a lot, just like in relationships in general is like, you know, if you're going to have people who maybe don't appreciate the love that you guys put into your gym and into your people. But if you were ever to dwindle that down, the people who deserved and really wanted that love would never get it. Right. And so that's the thing is just like part of that of just like, you know, finding ways to do things that can bring in a variety of people. But at the same point, like making sure that people don't just like lose sight of what they're trying to do. And like, you know, it's going to be okay. Not everything's for everybody.
And I think that's what it comes down to, like just knowing who you are, like knowing what, like not even who your ideal client is, but knowing what you want to bring and what you want to serve and the message that you want to send and just being very, very true to that.
Right.
Whatever, you know, the cost. I think that there was, you know, we're going through a transition now and there was, you know, conversations about, you know, us being faith-based and, you know, that is, it's awesome. We are not shameful of our faith, but like, do we want to push away the people, you know, that maybe that's not a belief? Or do we want to be put on this pedestal that if we were to make a mistake, we give someone a reason to hate Christians, right? There's just so many, you know, questions that we had. And I think for us, we had to go back to like, this is who we are. This is what we are called to do. And we're going to create an environment that actually welcomes all of that. You don't have to be in our gym as a believer, but you're still going to get loved on. And I think that is human biology, no matter what you believe. But I think that there was some, you know, we had to know who we were because you could do what the market tells you to do. This is easier this way or this way. So I think that that's a big thing that we've had to really focus on. I think a lot of business owners is if you don't know what you stand for, you're just going to kind of go in the winds and
nobody's going to notice.
No. No.
And that's, you know, it's a tough thing because you have to explore those options sometimes. You have to look and think about it. And it's like, no, you know, this is, you know, like I'd be lying if, you know, if I said that we have never explored the idea of having commission. You know what I mean? We have looked at it like, you know, because there's just, we're like, how do we motivate people? How do we, you know, how do we make sure that, you know, maybe
they care as much as you care.
Right. Maybe there is some like monetary incentive that makes somebody go to this level with a customer that we want them to, you know, and like trying to think of like potential creative ways to do that. And it's like, you know, we've never found a way that we felt comfortable with, so we've never done it. And it's like, you know, again, but it's like true to ourselves of like what we are, like we don't want to have to, that doesn't want to be a path that we ever have to take, because like it creates an environment that I feel like could go against what we believed in when we created it. You know what I mean? It's like, this is what we want. We want to, you know, in so many ways, like prove the industry wrong. Like you don't have to be a hard commission, you know, structure to be successful in this space. Like you can actually swing the pendulum in a totally different direction and find new levels of success, maybe even better levels of success if you can do it. And I think that is like, that is again, but to say like, I can't say we've never considered it. You know what I mean? Like you have to kind of look at those things, but I think the businesses that find those things that they really want to stand on. And again, you know, the people that, you know, if you were ever to dwindle that down, the people who need it the most wouldn't get it.
Yep. Yeah. And I think if you know what you stand for and you're firm in that, the right people will walk through your doors. And there's enough of them everywhere.
That's amen.
Yeah. Amen. Yep.
Amen.
I apologize. This has been a lot of fun, but Alyssa is at home with both the kids right now. So I gotta
She's
get
got
home.
2 arms. I'm just kidding, Alyssa. Please don't. I'm totally kidding.
But this has been amazing.
Yes.
I can't tell you guys how much I appreciate you taking the time. Again, I know you guys have stuff to do pretty much nonstop. So, I hope you enjoyed the time. I hope this has been worth it for you guys. I hope we have a lot of listeners. first and foremost, again, if you've never tried out FitCamp180 Yukon, definitely go try. It's a party. If you are someone that even sounds intimidating to you, please just walk through the doors and talk with somebody. Everybody's so friendly there. It starts off always super calm. If you need, they'll even pair you up with somebody that knows what they're doing a little bit more, and they'll nicely help you through the whole workout. I remember my first time working out there. Actually, it might have been with Will the first time that I was there. Neither of us really knew, but the coaches were great about telling us, like directing us. And then it was like, okay, cool. Now we know what we're doing, so we can work hard. And, but it's so inviting. It's so much fun. And just to be able to like really kind of get to know you. I feel like I've had a great opportunity to really get to know who you guys are as people simply with Riley going over there. I know I mentioned earlier that sometimes the only reason I can get a little work done throughout the day, some days, maybe a lot of days, but the amount of love and attention and the amount that she's been able to learn over there has been amazing. With Dakota working with her, I always get to check in and, she wasn't great at sharing, so we did some time out today. Awesome. Thank you so much for like helping her with these things. She's learning how to interact with other kids and play. She's getting a lot out of it there. And she loves, our 2-year-old loves going over there. She loves everybody over there. Gets excited every morning. So I think that really stands or shows what kind of people you are over there. So
thank you for trusting us with her. We love her. And we are, thank you for reminding us. I think just like we talked about, it just gets so easy to forget the type of differences that we are all, empowered to be able to make. And remember at the end of any transaction, there's a person with a name and a story and God's put us in front of them. So thank you for reminding us of that today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's what we needed.
Yeah. Well, and I just want to say too, like, as, kind of, especially when I was managing here, when you guys were kind of like when we'd gotten open and you guys had gotten open, and just getting to see the success and the growth and the things that you guys have seen over there has just been super cool and super rewarding for me. Anytime I've ever been able to be involved with anything over there, like you guys have just been so welcoming to us. And, I can kind of a testament to kind of what Kevin was saying too is, the majority, like if you work at our Yukon location, it's like you're so happy to see like a FitCamp180 Yukon member walking in, because like just the people in the community that you guys have, created and cultivated there. It is a certain, like, I don't know how to put this, like a certain person, like a certain level of people, like that is like constantly coming
high quality humans.
Yes, exactly. And I think that is like when you can find, and then getting those people, like-minded people together who are all really awesome and, serving to others and all these things that we see, like it has been such a huge blessing for us. And like the friendships that I've made of just your clients that come to see us and getting to know them and their story and their journeys and things that they're doing is just been super rewarding for us and super awesome. And again, we were talking about earlier, it's a time to, reflect and smell the roses a little bit and just remember, on those hard days, like, what grandbabies getting to meet their grandparents that wouldn't have gotten to. And I think that there's so many cool things that can come from something like that. And I mean, I've seen countless transformations, come from your guys' gym. And it's just, it's super inspiring, and it's really awesome. And we love to see them. We love to watch them as they walk past our mirrored windows and check themselves out in the mirror before they go into class, or when I'm working up at Yukon and I see them all run by, it's always, I always like honk or wave at them or go and say something to them when I have a chance. And so, you guys really do have something special over there. And
put his hand
it's
on
really
it.
awesome.
And one of our biggest blessings is when he puts you guys as our neighbors. So thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, this has been a blast.
thanks for being our neighbor.
Yes.
What episode is this?
86.
86. All right, guys. anything else that you guys want to say? Know where to find you. It's right behind Triad. So
In Yukon.
right in Yukon, right behind Triad here. But yeah, if you guys have anything you want to say, don't feel like you have to, but
Nope. You guys go find Riley. She knows exactly where we're at.
Yeah.
She'll give you a pair of shades and she'll walk you to childcare.
that's right. That's right.
Show you all the good toys.
That's right. Well, sweet. Well, thanks again, guys.
Yeah.
This has been awesome. And thanks for everybody for listening. And we'll see you soon. So
Appreciate you guys.
Cool.